Hello, fuckers. I'm gonna do a review of The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 12, called Still. This was a Daryl and Beth episode, and it was not the best episode I've seen. The idea of it was pretty fucking stupid, in my opinion. Like, Beth wants to drink alcohol. I know it's supposed to be like, what I got from it was like the whole message referring back to Herschel, but I just didn't like the idea of it. But the character development between both characters was pretty cool. How we learned about Daryl and his past, what he was with his brother or whatnot, and how I liked Daryl in the episode, but not Beth. Like, Daryl was great, how he was screaming when he was drunk and stuff like that, like yelling at Beth or whatever, but Beth, she didn't do that good. From what the gist of it in my memory, from what I got from the episode, is it starts out Beth and Daryl they came along some car or whatever, and they hide in the trunk because walkers come in, and I think they're going to try to either scavenge stuff for the car, which they end up doing, or seeing if the car works or whatever, so they can obviously use the car. But they end up just taking some stuff to make some traps out in the woods. And after that, Daryl kills a snake, and they're eating snake stuff. They're eating the snake or whatever. And what happens after that is Beth's like, I need a drink. And fucking Daryl, being the swag badass he is, he just throws her like a fucking dirty bottle of water. And basically, and she's like, no, I need a drink. And by drink, I mean alcohol. Like, how she says alcohol really bugs me. She's like, alcohol. I'm like, that's not how you say it. But after that, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go find it myself. Yeah. And they go to a golf course, and those kills in the golf course are really cool. The one where Daryl, like, Happy Gilmore's the walker's face off. Fucking legit. But, yeah, and they just basically go to the fucking golf course and look for liquor. They find some liquor, and it's like fucking, I don't remember what the brand name was, but it was something Rose or something, but it's supposed to be like a bitchy brand. And she tries to unscrew it like it's a fucking like soda bottle or something like that. But no, it's got, and then she starts fiddle fucking with the cork, like trying to see if she pokes it to see if it'll open. But after that, she starts crying because Herschel. And at the same time, Daryl's throwing darts at the wall or like at a picture or whatever. And he goes over to Beth and like throws on the ground or whatever, and he's like, your first drink ain't gonna be blah 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 and stuff like that, and they leave, and they find this house or whatever that Daryl and Michonne found early on in the episode, but obviously didn't see it, like you didn't show it, because if it did, we would have knew about it. And they go in there and they find moonshine. They start drinking it or whatever, and they start playing that game where it's like, if I've never fiddle fucked in the bathroom or whatever, and if you haven't, take a drink or whatever. And they start doing that game, and then, of course, Beth, being the stupid bitch she is, I've never went to prison. And Daryl's just like, you bitch. And basically just looks at her like she's fucking retarded. And then he starts flipping shit like, well, I've never had a pony before. I've never had someone care for me in my life. I've never shot a crossbow. And then, like, he gets all pissed off. And when he says, oh, I've never shot a crossbow before, and he starts throwing the moonshine everywhere, because obviously he got offended by the whole I've never been to jail thing. Made him feel like an outcast or whatever because he went to jail. And there was a walker outside, just one walker outside. And he was like, oh, you never shot a crossbow before? Come on, let's go shoot a crossbow. And he, like, wraps his arm around her and fucking, like, forces her outside. And it's just like a really, really aggressive scene. Like, he just starts shooting bolt after bolt after bolt, like trying to make her shoot it by, like, forcefully putting her in front of him and putting the crossbow like in her arms, but he's shooting it, and like he's fucking just yelling at her and yelling at the zombie or whatever, and then they both just start yelling at each other. He starts blaming himself for not looking for the governor anymore, and then he just strolls on there and kills practically the life they had. And he starts crying, she starts crying, they all just start crying. And I'm gonna admit it, I cried because Daryl started to cry. If Daryl starts to cry, you cry. Like, anything Daryl does, you do. If he starts to cry, you cry. If he gets angry, you get angry. That's how it works. That's human monogamy. I don't even know what that means, but okay. My screensaver turned on. That's fucking weird. I have it set for 1 minute, but it turned on 5 minutes later. You know, this episode, the beginning of it was really, really fucking boring, except for the zombie kills. Those were really cool, but just her looking for fucking liquor was boring. The character development when they were yelling at each other was pretty good, and then after that, they basically just sat on the porch and just drank, and afterward, Daryl just said, "Let's go inside," and then she's like, "We should just burn the house down." They burned the house down, and they both just flip it off. And then basically practically the fucking episode ends. That's basically how it went down. So, my final verdict on this episode is, this episode was not the best, but it wasn't like terribly bad. It was good. Some of the acting was poor. The action was okay. It's not like we saw fucking a whole bunch of zombie stuff or group versus group action. And the only thing I don't like about it is they only stuck with two characters, which is Beth and Daryl. I wish they would have done something else with other characters, like they would have added in Bob, Sasha, and Maggie or something like that, because we haven't seen them since the second episode. We haven't seen them since episode 10. Yeah, we haven't seen them in 2 episodes. But in the previews and stuff like that, in the promos for next week's episode, you obviously see them because they're in the promos. But my final verdict on this, I think I was going to give this like a 6.7. I think that's fair. 6.8 maybe. Yeah, 6.7 out of 10. It was not too bad, but also not the best episode. So, if you want to find me on Facebook, go down this descriptiones and you will find it. The link to it and whatnot. And if you agree with my, I was gonna say list, but if you agree with my my review, give a like, share it around town. But anyways, babies, I love you. I'll get back to you.